the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are.
Sacred love is all that you are. Wow, what a phrase, right? Sacred love is all that you are. So on this beautiful day and this week of Valentine's Day, we're going to open up our thinking about love and remember that sacred love is all that you are and is all that there is. So good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Happy to see you. Those of you who are here today in person, it's always great if you're here for the first time. Be sure to say hello and receive a welcome packet and grab a free book off our bookshelf. That's our gift to you. And those of you that are online, welcome to our live stream, whether it's today, February 12th, or any day in the future. We know how that is now. And so my name is Frankie and I'm the spiritual director here at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown, and I'm so thrilled to serve today with Gail Belluardo, one of our licensed practitioners, and she has a wonderful guided meditation in store for us. So today we are diving a little bit deeper in the theme of the year, which is curiosity is what?
My superpower.
Your superpower, yes. And it's in the theme for the year, which is living out loud. And I'm going to explore a little bit around this idea that when things seem the worst, whether it's with ourselves or in the world, that's when we rise up. At least I believe that if we are on a spiritual path or a Science of Mind student, that's what we do. We rise above what's happening in the world and we see a greater truth. And then from that place, we serve. So we're exploring that a little bit today. And what that requires, it requires a state of consciousness. It's a state of remembering that we are sacred love, right? And then I want to talk a little bit about how can we arrive at or remember and live from that deeper love. So we have a website. Blip, blip, blip. What do we have? We have a website, and on the website are all kinds of things, and including all the events that we have. And Next week, I am actually doing something I've never done before in my whole life. I love doing new things. I love scaring myself. It's such a great way to grow. And I'm doing an art journal workshop. And that is like a vision board. Are most of you familiar with a vision board in the form of a book, kind of like this. This was one I created when I was going through treatment for my health. So this is just like a children's book with those thick pages, and they're all covered. So we're going to do some of that. And once you register, I'll let you know what you need to bring, which is not a lot, because I'm going to bring all my supplies that you get to share now. And also, we have our next healing circle with Gail. Last one was canceled due to the weather, March 3rd, every Friday, first Friday at 7 p.m. And then there's some flyers over here because our beloved Kate is doing another sound bath experience, which is so awesome. That's the 26th of March. So we have a few things happening. Look at the website and you'll know. So one of the things that we do is we greet one another in a way that's very, 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 very ancient. It's from the Sanskrit language called Namaste, which means the divinity in me sees the divinity in you. So we don't just get to give, we get to receive. So put your hands together and just bow to somebody or somebody's and say Namaste. Namaste. Oh, you're doing everyone. Woo-hoo! That's exciting. And so let's do an opening treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. And so let's withdraw our attention from the outer world just for a moment by closing our eyes if we feel comfortable with that. And turn to that rich, rich, rich inner world that is really where we connect with the infinite thing called life, the divine life, the universal presence, whatever we call that, which really in the end has no name because it is the everything. And so we connect with that when we turn away from the world just for a moment to fill our heart, to allow our hearts to heal, to allow ourselves to remember that there is a presence and a power that is greater than we are, and it moves us, it lives in us, it uses us, it moves through us, and we allow it to touch us in ways like never before today. We allow it to be the healing presence when it comes to any physical challenge. We allow it to be a healing presence in any mental challenge, any emotional challenge. And we trust that we are here having these experiences so that we may evolve in a state of remembrance. The remembrance that sacred love is who we are. It's all there is. It's everywhere present, even though we might have a different opinion. And so we surrender to that movement and we allow it to move us, so that we can be part of a world that works for everyone. So with gratitude for being here together today and so much more, we turn this word over to the universal law, which knows exactly how to demonstrate it in the highest and best ways for each and every one of us, and so it is. So it is. I don't know about you, but it seems like there's a lot to be distracted about or distracted by. There's so much that's happening in the world that's tugging at our hearts. And the world seems to need us more and more, whether it is the tragedies that we're seeing in Syria and Turkey, whether it's the issues with Russia or China, whether it's any kind of discrimination. There is so much happening in the world that's easy to have reasons to be worried, whether it's close with family and friends or a little further away, or in a land like Turkey and Syria that's so far away, right? And so I know that there are days where I feel anxious, where I feel worried. When I talk to people who might not be on a spiritual path, they're very worried about the future. They're very worried about their families. Anybody here ever worry about things happening in the world? Things happening with your families, a little scared, right? Yes. I mean, I'd be worried if you weren't. I mean, we are human beings, right? And we're awake, we're conscious to some degree or other. So, and then there's all this complaining that's going on. I mean, really complaining about the price of eggs? I get it, I'm not judging anyone, but we have a lot more to complain about than the price of eggs, if we really think about it, right? And so as people on the spiritual path are having a hunger for a deeper, richer spiritual life, or calling themselves a science of mind practitioner, and I'm not talking about a licensed practitioner like Gloria and Gail, but somebody who practices this teaching, of course, to the best of their ability, that's all we can do. But we know that when we see these things and when we find ourselves worried, that there's work to do. And that work is not necessarily out here, because I don't know about you, but I have sought out organizations that are helping people in an integrous way with my donations and going through coats I don't need and warm clothes I don't need and making sure they go to the right place. So if you have such organizations that you love, share it with each other. Is anybody here volunteering for earthquake survivors? Really? Okay. So ask me later, I'll send you to places where you can go help. There's lots of organizations that are local where you can go help today. There's lots of organizations that you can make a donation today, and everything helps. $1 or $5,000, it helps. We can all do something, right? And so, but what we know in our teaching is that first thing we do is we rise up in consciousness. The first thing we do is we work in consciousness. We notice our reactions, we notice how we feel, and then we go to work through prayer, meditation, or visioning, which is really asking the question, well, what is mine to do? And then we listen long enough so we receive the guidance. So it doesn't come from fear and anxiety and worry, because nobody needs more of that. But it comes from a place of love and open-heartedness. So we say in our teaching that it's our consciousness that is our superpower, right? And so we want to keep working in consciousness so that the superpower of consciousness can be a gift and a blessing to the world. And so we don't stop. We don't stop and go, oh my God, what is happening? Then we turn within to consciousness and say, what needs to be healed in my own consciousness? How may I serve? What is mine to do? It means that we come from a higher awareness, a higher purpose, a higher knowing, a higher state of living, which actually energizes us, where we get excited what we can do for others who are not as blessed as we are, where we feel a sense of, I'm going to come up with a solution instead of staying stuck in the problem, because that makes us part of the problem, right? Or we ask, what is mine to do? How may I serve? And we listen and we follow, because sometimes the service is so tiny and so subtle, but that too matters. And so we follow that. And of course, we love. We love, 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 love. It's about knowing we are an instrument of sacred love, infinite love, and that love is our gift to the world. And it is noticing that if we do not experience this infinite flow of divine love, that whatever is in the way, is our way, is for us to dissolve. So if I feel my heart filled with love and compassion for others, and I kind of go, I'm kind of scared of doing anything or going anywhere because who knows, then I know that that's where I can do my spiritual work, where I can open up, where I can do my treatment work, my meditation, my practices. So we notice that we work on overcoming the blocks that are in the way for us as individuals. And that's different for each and every one of us, because we're each individualized expressions of the one. So what we're doing then is we're called to be a co-creator, called to co-create this world that works for everyone, which we might now say, not everyone, look over here, look over there, or look over here. But I can be asking myself, what is my part then? What's in the way for me, and how can I rise up? And so we inquire within. We inquire within. Close your eyes just for a moment. Take a deep breath. And on the out breath, imagine that you're making space inside of you that's empty, quiet, peaceful. And we listen to our heart of hearts and say, what is mine to do, to give? And so now come back. You may have received an answer that said, go through my sock drawer and give socks away I don't need or don't wear, because we all have more than enough. Most of us have more than enough, right? And so don't dismiss that, because who knows where your pair of socks can lead you. And if nothing came, it just means that you're asked to listen longer until you receive the guidance and follow that. So why is it that we do that? Why do we inquire within? Because it is within our consciousness that we are connected to the universal mind, the universal heart, the universal life. We know from our teachings that everything we need is already available within us. What's in the way is an idea, a belief that might not be conscious yet, but it wants to be made conscious, because once it's made conscious, we can transform it. And so we ask, and we're not afraid to look. We're not afraid to look at what's in the way, because we know that if we look with courage, healing happens. And so we get curious. We get very, very curious. We say, well, what's mine to be lived? What is mine to be expressed? What is mine to do, be, have? And if nothing happens, there are many resources. I have been so supported and so guided by my daily healing work and my daily readings. I read, at the moment, every day this year, I'm reading the Quran, I'm reading Rumi stories, I'm reading the Science of Mind magazine, I go through our little journal, and I'm doing a divination deck that's new for me that I really love. It's called the Kantaji Oracle, an ecological spiritual guide and a creative prompt deck. It has 52 cards, and I'm doing one card a week. So I want to share a few things, because these are things that really inspired me this week. And I want you to listen for the inspiration. A lot of the quotes in this month's Science of Mind magazine are amazing, because they are from the older works of Dr. Ernest Holmes. We have a few copies left. I know it's almost the middle of February, but it's still worth it. You can just work back and then work forward. So some of the books are some lesser known books by Ernest Holmes, like Living Without Fear, Words That Heal Today, Discover Richer Living, Living the Science of Mind, Can We Talk to God? So there's a lot of really great quotes. So let me read a couple to you. This one's by Albert Einstein, a quote from Albert Einstein. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence. One cannot help but be in awe when we contemplate the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. That's by the Walt Disney Company. Who knew? Science of Mind will never be a closed book, but will continue to gather spiritual truth from every source and every person's experience. Ernest Holmes. Stephen Hawking, remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder about what makes the universe exist. Be curious. This is Ken Dictwall, never heard of him. If I never explore my limits, my body-mind will gradually tighten and become unconscious. If I regularly explore my limits in a caring and adventuresome fashion, I will expand and grow in a vital fashion. I'll save this for later. How many of you brought your journal? Yeah, these are great. I'm really loving it. I'm not obviously taking notes on Sundays. I have notes, but I'll write in it during the week, thinking about what we explored on that Sunday. Well, this one on page 22 has a quote by Deepak Chopra. It says, everyone has a purpose in life. And when we blend this unique talent with service to others, we experience the ecstasy and exaltation of our own spirit. The questions that were in this week's reading from the Kantachi Oracle has 3 questions. So these are the questions I'm working with this week. What if your uniqueness has a true home in the human community? What if your uniqueness has a true home in the human community? There comes a time where we have to stop worrying so much about our own personal experience, personal life, personal process. And we just have to step into the world and give. And then the rest will take care of itself. If not, it will show up in ways that we are invited to look deeper and be more curious about, right? What if your uniqueness indicates a singular purpose that only you can fulfill? So it requires us to think different, not separate. Because sometimes we feel separate and alone, right? So the idea is to remember we're not separate, we're different. And so that means in our differentness, we have a unique gift to share with the world. And so that's why the question is, what if your uniqueness indicates a singular purpose that only you can fulfill? And the last one, what if the uniqueness of each individual is sacred? What if the uniqueness of each individual is sacred? So these are just a few questions that I've worked with this week. What happens is that when we work with these questions and we keep listening, something comes through and an answer is given that allows us to step on the path in a very free and loving way, in a very effortless and easy way, because it's so aligned that whatever it is that we need to bring in service is already provided, and we thrive on that. We can never feel tired or exhausted because we're fueled from the inside out. And so we move from that place of wanting and needing, right? Because when we say, I want, I need, what we're really saying, I'm in lack. I don't have enough. And we keep saying it, or thinking it without maybe even being aware of it. And then guess what? Yeah, you're going to be right there. So the idea then is that we move into our becoming by tuning in and by listening and by being guided. Then we grow, then we heal, then we serve freely, then we make a difference. And so it's Valentine's Day. How many of you are depressed about it? No hands. Okay, you're okay. How many of you are excited about it? A few. And some of you are like, I don't care. It's a Hallmark thing. Yes. We don't celebrate Valentine's Day very much because we have anniversaries and birthdays in January, and so I did make some sweets that are really delicious.
Right.
And So what if we can open the idea of Valentine's Day up? Because there's really like this pull and push, right? I think that most of us would agree that we've all at one point or another had a deep longing for a deep, rich romance and the perfect mate. We forget that relationship is about learning and growing and evolving, so it rarely remains perfect, maybe in the beginning for a while. And so what that's saying to us on the spiritual journey is that it's just asking us to have a deeper understanding of love and how love works and what it does and how can we, when we struggle in relationships, how can we fall more deeply in love with ourselves? How can we fall more deeply in love with God, or whatever you call that? How can we fall more deeply in love with each other? Not just the romantic, intimate relationships, but all relationships. Maybe that one where you roll your eyes when you think of them. Maybe there is room to feel a deeper love, a deeper understanding of what love is, because we already know intellectually that love is not, the real love is not conditional, it's unconditional. And so this means that we all get to make more room for love, because love is all there is, and at the same time we get to know that love heals, but it requires an action. It's not just a thought, not just a prayer. It's an action. There's movement that's asked of us. We may have to start small, especially when we have forgotten that love is all there is. When we have forgotten that as we give, we receive. When we have forgotten that we are 100% lovable, loving and loved. And so I want you to think of something that you might be struggling with right now. Something that you might be struggling with right now. Not someone, something internally. Something you would like to heal. Something you would like to be free of, or feel freer with. And so, one of the things that I started doing when I was going through cancer treatments was I started to say, I love my body and my body loves me. And it changed everything. It changed everything, because I believe that when I experienced cancer, it was my body's message of healing something that was cancerous in my consciousness. So it ended up being a gift. And so I think we all have something in us that's like that. Maybe not literally cancerous, but cancer is a belief, an idea, a limitation, a place of unforgiveness, a lack of self-love, not feeling worthy. So I want you to use this as an affirmation. So it could be, I love technology, technology loves me. I've been doing that one. I love my body loves me. I love the world loves me. I love my family loves me. Does anybody want to say one out loud?
I love cell phones.
I love cell phones, and cell phones love me.
I love bills.
I love my dog loves me. Fernando?
Said, I love bills, and bills love me.
I love my bills, and my bills love me. Yes, that's a great one. I'm going to use that. What else?
How about Bill's bills?
Yes, Patricia.
I love life and life loves me.
I love life, and life loves me.
About my work.
I love my work, and my work loves me.
I love worrying.
So what would be the opposite of worry for you?
Peace.
I love peace, and peace loves me. Use that instead.
I love the trees and the trees love me.
I love the trees, and the trees love me.
I love video games.
I love video games. And video games love me. Yes. So we get to when you notice when you're moving around in the world, whether if you're in traffic and you get worried, I love traffic and traffic loves me, and watch it open up. Just experiment with that. It's really fun. Something that I was reminded of by Dr. Karen Kushner from Princeton. She uses this all the time, and I'm like, oh, thanks for reminding me, I forgot it. So what this means is that we go to love. We go for love. We go for what we love. We don't say, I want this. No, I love it, and it loves me, and it's a way to invite it into our lives. So, 2 quotes I want to close with that are so great. One is, the things that make us different are our superpowers. Isn't that great to look at it that way? Because sometimes we think, oh, I'm different, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not whatever enough, or I don't have enough. Well, that's my superpower, so let me use it as my superpower by saying, I love it. And the last one is from Superman. It says, there's a superhero in all of us. We just need the courage to put on the cape. So put your capes on, people, and fly.
These times are troubling me so much I can hardly see through the walls, keeping us apart. You got your views and I got mine, but we're together in this moment in time. Hope you can hear me with your heart. I'm not trying to push you away, but I got something I've got to say. I stand for love, I stand for peace, I stand for humanity and the good of all. I stand for hope, I stand for faith, I stand for freedom and the good of all. I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand, I stand, I stand. Could you stand with me?
So I ask you, what do you stand for? I know that I stand here this morning with Reverend Frankie to talk about curiosity and discovery. And Reverend Frankie talked about the ways that we could give and discover and be curious about how to serve in the world. I'm going to focus now on self-discovery and discovering your true self. So I invite you now to just take a deep breath. And go within. Go within to that secret, sacred place in your heart. Go within and breathe nice and deeply into your heart space. Into that space and that place within you that has never been hurt, harmed, or endangered. And as you breathe more deeply, settled into your heart space, you open your eyes inside and you see before you a path. A lovely, interesting path that you feel curious about, that you would like to explore. And so you follow this path. It winds a little bit, but then it becomes straight. And eventually it opens into this area where there is this lush garden. Beautiful vegetation and other species just growing there. And all of a sudden you notice there's a being tending to the garden. This is the gardener of your true self. You notice this being is vibrant and radiant. It even looks like you, except that it's free-flowing and joyful and filled with an infinite feeling of love and joy. You notice that this being is tending to all the different vegetation and flowers. And so you become curious and turn your attention to everything around you. And notice that everything around you is unique and interesting. At one point, your attention gets caught by this beautiful flower. Lush and fragrant, beautiful, and so you move toward it. You wonder, how did this flower become so beautiful? And then all of a sudden you learn that it's because even though you were once afraid to attempt something new, you went and tried it anyway. And the flower became more beautiful and vibrant. And now notice your heart beginning to expand. And now you become more and more interested, and you start exploring other species. And this is when you learn that one group, after everyone around you was doing something a certain way, but you had the courage to follow your own path. Another blossomed when you were afraid to speak up to authority, but you did it anyway. And yet another, when you had a fixed opinion about something and felt very righteous about it. And yet you became willing to listen and learn something new. As you move further through the garden, you notice more ways that your true self has been tending to the growth of your inner life. It is quite remarkable. And your heart swells with even more joy and appreciation. And you begin to understand that whenever you are authentic and open to growing, the garden of your true self flourishes, and your life becomes more enriched. You become more courageous and freer to be all of who you are meant to be, for yourself and for the world. And so now you make a promise to yourself to pay more attention to your authenticity and to be willing to deliver that more in the world as you do your good work and your service and you live out your soul's purpose. And so I invite you now to just take a deep breath. Take in whatever that experience has been for you. Allow it to fill you up. Allow it to inform how you think about your authenticity and being true to yourself. And when you are ready, I invite you to open your eyes, come back to the room, and be present with the rest of us and the rest of the service. And so, this is our time to realize that we are always interconnected. We are always unified. And that this law of circulation that flows through all of life flows through you, flows through everything you are, everything you give, and everything you receive. And so it's our time of sacred giving. And I invite you to give of yourself in whatever way you feel moved to our beloved center as we serve you and are served by you. And just know that if you give financially, through your service, I believe we still could use somebody to help us with technology. And in whatever way, show up to our events, pray for us, pray for our growth and our abundance. I invite you to do that. You can give by text, by phone, on our website. We have a basket here. And we invite you to know that we give to you as well, with divine love and compassion. All righty.
Bless you.
And God bless you. God is blessing us this entire night. So I would like to just close us out now with what we call our closing treatment, which is, of course, another word for affirmative prayer. So breathe in and know with me that there is a great discovery happening within ourselves and everywhere. That our curiosity is something that serves us. As we grow and we become, we are served and we serve others. So there's only one thing happening here, and it's God's love in action. And we know that here at our beloved center that we are love in action. And whatever has been received today is exactly what was meant to be received, and whatever is unfolding in your life from this moment on is whole, perfect, and complete. And so with gratitude and grace, I release this word. I surrender it into the universal law of life. I know it's done. And join with me in saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.